What's up guys, Doug Polk here, and today we're going to be taking a closer look at the man known as Roger Ver. But before we do that, I have a couple things I want to get out of the way. First off, I don't want to turn this into a Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash type argument. And I know we can't completely stay out of the waters on that because a lot of what Roger Ver has to say is based around that argument. I'm going to do my best to try and avoid it if possible. Personally, I believe that Bitcoin's path forward through innovative technology makes a lot more sense than scaling blocks like Bitcoin Cash. However, even people that have problems with Bitcoin Cash can say that there are good aspects to increasing block size. So I don't really want to get too deep into that argument. I want to focus this video more on Roger Ver's hypocritical stances as well as Sheisty moves, and I'm going to point this video in that direction. With that out of the way, let's do a little background story on who exactly Roger Ver is. According to Wikipedia, Roger Ver was an American citizen but renounced his citizenship in favor of becoming a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis. Roger is also 38 years old and while being from San Jose, California, currently resides in Tokyo, Japan. Diving into his past a little bit here, he was the CEO of the company MemoryDealers.com from 1999 until 2012, which will become important later in this video. This brings us to one of the more controversial parts of Roger Ver's past. In 2002, Ver pleaded guilty after selling explosives marked as Pest Control Report 2000 on eBay, which the US Department of Justice described as, quote, dealing in explosives without a license, and he was sentenced to 10 months in federal prison. This is a part of Roger's past he doesn't like to talk about too much, but he did give an exclusive interview at quite a professional location.
You haven't actually talked about your prison time. What years were those, and tell us a little bit about that, because I don't think you've ever discussed that much.
Sure.
Did they ban you from firing fireworks in prison, is it?
So no, actually in prison, you can smoke drugs, you can make your own alcohol, there's prostitution going on. So when I agreed to sign the plea agreement and knew that I was going to prison, everybody told me that I was going to go to a prison camp where they said that it would be just like going to summer camp, but it's like everybody's older and you'll be there with a bunch of doctors, lawyers, and drug dealers. And I got to actually choose the day I would
schemers and
I would start, and Bitcoiners maybe, but this is before Bitcoin. So, but I thought I was showing up to the camp, and the judge promised me, the prosecuting attorney, my attorneys, everybody said very clearly you'll be going to a camp where there's not even a fence, there's just a line on the ground, and you're not supposed to walk to the other side of the line. Turns out none of those people have any say whatsoever as to what prison you go to. It's decided by the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
I can't believe that our government would send an innocent man, a man to prison after they told him it would be like summer camp. Imagine you're expecting this and all you get is this. It might sound like Roger's complaining about having to go to prison for his felony, but luckily we have hard-hitting journalists who are going to hold his feet to the fire and say enough is enough.
And since my actual crime was dealing in explosives without a license.
Which sounds pretty cool, frankly, but I don't know if that gets you the respect you're looking
for. It got
for.
me a little bit of credit.
That's right, Roger Ver is a gangster. And we all know there are dangerous men in crypto.
No way you can stop it when niggas run up on you with them things out. I kill you. I ain't playing. Hear what I'm saying, homie? I ain't playing. Catch you slipping, I'ma kill you. I ain't playing. Hear what I'm saying, homie? I ain't playing.
Now we're getting down to business. Serious questions. He's gonna have to answer for hard facts. Let's see what the question is.
You were selling them on eBay, right?
Yeah, I was selling them on eBay and had a website, and dozens of other people were selling them. Cabela's Sporting Goods catalog was selling them.
What was your eBay rating?
100%, I'm pretty sure.
Fair, yeah, good.
According to Roger Ver's plea bargain, he said he was storing the explosive next to or under his bed in his apartment. But the thing about an apartment building is you're not just jeopardizing your life, you're also jeopardizing the lives of people around you. Hey Roger, how's it going today? Oh hey Bill, just got a couple new pounds of explosives I'm keeping under my bed. Awesome, glad to hear it, keep doing you. I know this isn't the end of the world. He was only a kid when this happened, 19, 20 years old. But still, when you're a kid, your actions still matter, as we've learned here on YouTube.
The reason why I make these videos on BitConnect, I really never thought it would get this big.
When it comes to investing in Bitcoin itself, Roger Ver got in early and is a very powerful member of the community. According to Wikipedia, Ver began investing in Bitcoin in early 2011. The first investment he made was for Charlie Shrem's BitInstant. Ver's investment allowed the company to hire a designer and another programmer. He invested over $1 million into new Bitcoin-related startups, including Ripple, Blockchain.info, BitPay, and Kraken. In 2011, Veer's company Memory Dealers was the first to accept Bitcoin as payment. His early advocacy for Bitcoin earned him the moniker of Bitcoin Jesus. This is probably a good point to move into our next story. Now, let's say that you run an online business, okay? I'm sure some of you guys do, and you understand what it's like to run one. Sometimes people will scam you for amounts of money because they figure out flaws in the system. When that happens, most companies will try to get their funds back by reaching out or potentially look at legal action if the amount is significant enough. Roger Ver took a bit of a different approach by publicly posting the guy's information, including Bitcoin address, IP address, actual address, and phone number on a public forum. This is an archived version of that post. Now, the person posting is under the screen name Memory Dealers, again, Roger Ver's company, which he's the CEO of, and in the signature it says, "I'm Roger Ver. I'm sad to report that BitcoinStore.com has encountered our first scammer. He ordered a video card earlier this week, but insisted that we declare it as $0 for customs. Legally, we are not allowed to do this, so we offered to declare the full amount or refund his money. He asked for a refund, which was promptly sent. Unfortunately, an extra 4.5 Bitcoin was also sent to him that he is refusing to return. I understand this is partially Bitcoin Store's fault. The Bitcoin address and payments in question are here. He has refused to refund the money when asked via email, and when I called on the telephone, he hung up on me as soon as I told him my name. Other than the reputational enforcement from this posting, I don't know what else can be done. Any ideas? Bitcoin Store customer information is normally considered private and will only be divulged in cases of blatant attempted scamming. What I find totally absurd is that Roger Ver posted this guy's information as a threat to get his money back online. You do not post people's personal information online, ever, period. You just don't do that. It's dangerous for people. Just imagine for a second if someone with a real large following posted someone's address and told their followers, hey, this guy scammed me, here's where he lives. What do you think is going to happen to that guy? We know that his information was posted here based on a series of posts below. Posts like this guy. Thanks for the info. I've been scammed myself and I know it sucks. My thread's in here if you can help me. I wouldn't personally add contact info online such as phones or address, but I would try to find the scammer's accounts to post. Another person jumps in. If your policy is to publicly shame with full name, address, email, and phone number of those you consider to have scammed you, please update your privacy policy to detail exactly the circumstances in which you're going to do this. Your current privacy policy explicitly says, quote, we will not disclose or sell your personal contact information to any third parties without your permission. After a deep dive here at Crypto News headquarters, we managed to find exclusive footage of the exact conversation between Roger Ver and the alleged scammer.
You gonna give me my money? Where's my money, man?
At this point, you're probably thinking, these were serious actions from Roger Ver. But sometimes the punishment has to fit the crime. Eye for an eye. This person stole a lot of money from Roger. And the total was $50. $50. 50. At the time of this post, Bitcoin was around $10 or so a Bitcoin, and this entire ordeal was caused over $50. He also made a post threatening the guy saying, Nicholas, as part owner, I have admin access to blockchain.info. So depending on the notification settings you have for your wallet there, I can look up accounts based on Bitcoin addresses. 100% for sure that Bitcoin address is owned and controlled by you, and you receive the funds from me. Now do the right thing and send them back. Once you do that, I will delete the rest of your information from this public thread, and we can both put this behind us. I caught you 100% red-handed lying about this. What a great offer there, Roger. Hey man, I'll take down all your public info once you send me my $50 back. Threatening your users? Anyone else feel like that's kind of ridiculous?
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand it? What the hell is wrong with you people?
Let's move on and talk about SegWit and the Lightning Network. Now, whenever you're a central figure in a space like Roger Ver is in cryptocurrency, people are going to look to you for information on what they can trust. What should they get behind? What's good and what's bad? And Roger has made some strong statements when it comes to the Lightning Network.
Okay, so you're saying that we shouldn't make any attempt whatsoever to make unconfirmed Bitcoin transactions as safe as we possibly can?
I think that that's a characteristic of the businesses or the individuals who have different trust characteristics than those who are solely utilizing proof of work as their trust
So
characteristic.
I can tell you every single person that's using Bitcoin for payments wants zero confirmation transactions to be as safe as possible.
So you like
And
Lightning then?
I love Lightning, sure.
Okay.
Roger Ver doesn't just like Lightning, he loves it.
I love Lightning, sure.
Roger Ver is a fan of the Lightning Network, but when it came to Bitcoin Unlimited, which is a full node implementation that Roger Ver supports, many critics were saying that it wouldn't have the capabilities of being able to use the Lightning Network. Well, Roger took to Twitter to let them know they were wrong. If you think Bitcoin Unlimited doesn't support layer 2 scaling solutions, you have been misled by the core supporting propaganda, censorship, and lies. That's right, Bitcoin Core advocates are spreading false claims about Bitcoin Unlimited. It can't even handle Lightning Network. We don't want the Lightning Network. And many notable opponents to this step forward, including this tweet 2 days later. Bitcoin transactions require no intermediaries or counterparty risk. Layer 2 solutions have both. That's right, Lightning Network doesn't work. What do you have to say about that, Roger? Oh wait, shit, this tweet was from Roger. Wait, what the hell? This is 2 days later. Strong words against the Lightning Network.
I love Lightning, sure.
February, I love the Lightning Network. We're all looking forward to it. May 2nd, we can do Lightning Network. May 4th, Lightning Network creates problems. Once segwit is adopted and Lightning nodes are running, it solves all of these problems. But Roger makes a good point. It's going to be years until we get that network going. On an unrelated note, I want to congratulate Bitcoin on reaching 20% dominance for segwit, as well as having over 100 Lightning nodes now running. I guess it didn't take years. Let's put Lightning to the side for a bit and talk about segwit, or segregated witness, for a second too.
But what I'd like to point out, like all the things that you talked about, segregated witness solving and the improvements that it makes, those are all good things to have done, and none of them are urgent. That what's really urgent for Bitcoin right now today is to get the transaction can cost more than $10 each sometimes, $10, $20, $30, $50 each for a single Bitcoin transaction.
All right, so we've got some good, exciting stuff coming out of segwit. However, it turned out in July that 6 years earlier, Satoshi was actually against segwit when Roger Ver tweeted out, as defined in the Satoshi Nakamoto Bitcoin white paper, segwit coins are not Bitcoins. What a sad turn of events. For 1 second here, I just want to let our newer viewers know that you cannot have the Lightning Network without segwit. It is a precursor. So when Roger Ver says that he's excited for the Lightning Network, well, what does that mean if you don't have segwit? Doesn't mean anything. I want to move on from segwit, but there's one last thing that hit especially close to home to me as a poker player that I found when it came to one of the reasons why Roger Ver did not want to go along with segwit. Roger Ver, I suppose the reason why I'm not going to endorse segwit today is mainly because I feel like the current core team didn't listen to the business community using Bitcoin. Phil Potter, Bitfinex CSO, that has nothing to do with the code, and that's there and ready now. It doesn't matter how we got here. We have to think about the future. It's a product here now, it's well tested. It seems to me that it would be a real shame for it to not activate or to delay activation. Why? Roger Ver. I suppose at this point because I feel like the current core team hasn't listened enough. At this point, I wouldn't feel bad if additional competing development teams started to rival Core's position. Roger, that's like saying Nash equilibrium is bullshit because Nash was a schizophrenic, despite the fact that he got a Nobel Prize. You have to look at the code we have right now. So basically, one of Roger's core arguments here when it comes to being against segwit is, you guys were really mean to me and you didn't listen to me, so I'm going home.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. We're trying to, screw you guys, home.
Let's move on and look at a couple other interviews that Roger has done in the past. This video takes place after rumors started to circulate about problems with Mt. Gox. But Roger went out there and really tried to put things into his own words as to why their money was safe.
I'm Roger Ver, longtime Bitcoin advocate and investor. Today I'm at the Mt. Gox World Headquarters in Tokyo, Japan. I had a nice chat with Mt. Gox CEO Mark Karpeles about their current situation. He showed me multiple bank statements as well as letters from banks and lawyers. I'm sure that all the current withdrawal problems at Mt. Gox are being caused by the traditional banking system, not because of a lack of liquidity at Mt. Gox.
Hi, I'm Doug Polk, and I am not currently reading off of a script. Today I am saying these words which are, wait, what's that say? Today I'm saying these words which are my own, completely my own, and entirely my own thoughts. Anyway, in this video, he essentially calms people down that Mt. Gox is going to be fine. And everything worked out okay.
What am I gonna do?
Let's move on to an interview he had with Richard Hart, where he went on and wanted to stomp out rumors which had been circulating that he had sold his Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash, which pumped the price.
I said that you liked Bitcoin Cash, and then you told me not to put words in your mouth. But now you're promoting the heck out of it. So
I'm
just
saying
say
that
you
stuff's
like
happening on
Cash.
Bitcoin Cash. So a lot of people think that I'm the one that pumped up the price of Bitcoin Cash. So I didn't sell
did.
a single Bitcoin. No, you didn't, but a lot of other people have.
No, I did. I promoted
you?
that
Okay.
idea too. Because why wouldn't you?
I haven't. So
No, but you don't have to sell Bitcoin. You could have sold your other altcoins to pump it. You could have
I
sold
haven't
cash
sold
to
a
pump
single
it.
Bitcoin or altcoin or cash or anything for Bitcoin Cash up until yesterday. And I sold like about a dozen Bitcoins for some Bitcoin Cash because I had them sitting in exchange. I wasn't quite sure what to do with them at the moment. So
while this interview was a step in the right direction, there still were many rumors circulating about if Roger had used his Bitcoin to buy a lot of Bitcoin Cash. One of the leading people spreading this false agenda, all right, you guys know who it's going to be. In response to a post about which coin is the real Bitcoin, Memory Deals, which is Roger Vere's account, posted, "I bought thousands of Bitcoin Cash with my Bitcoin so far. How about you?"
I haven't sold a single Bitcoin or altcoin or cash or anything for Bitcoin Cash.
Roger went on to clarify in the comments that he bought his Bitcoin Cash with his Bitcoins in advance before the fork on a futures market. That might be one of the stupidest defenses I've ever heard. Although this does open some nice workarounds for people. Let's just say you're a kid and you want your parents to buy you a game, but they say that they can't buy it for you. Well, if you pre-order and pay then, you didn't really buy it, did ya? Let them know, it'll probably work. One of the downright most funny things about Roger Ver is his obsession with not calling Bitcoin Cash Bcash, and also calling Bitcoin Bitcoin Core. He always refers to them like that, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. And the reason he does that is because he wants them to seem like they're equals. I'm going to say something that's going to upset some Bitcoin Cash holders, but Bitcoin Cash is an altcoin. Bitcoin is the main fork on the hard fork. Bitcoin Cash is the alternative with a smaller group of people. It is essentially an altcoin. It is not Bitcoin. Just because a coin has Bitcoin in the front of it doesn't make it Bitcoin. Bitcoin Gold isn't Bitcoin. Bitcoin Diamond isn't Bitcoin. These altcoins are not Bitcoin. And I know that that's something that angers a lot of people. And there are many Roger fans that don't believe what I'm saying. But it's just the simple truth of the matter. When a coin hard forks and one side of the fork has a substantially larger community, that's the coin itself. We could have a hard fork tomorrow and I could call it Bitcoin Doug and then argue that anyone else calling Bitcoin is wrong and that Bitcoin Doug is Bitcoin and that's actually Bitcoin Core, but I would just be an idiot. What makes this even more ridiculous is how passionate Roger gets when it comes to people using the commonly used term Bcash.
There's only two types of people that call it Bcash. They're people that have been brainwashed by this social media attack to call it Bcash. And I implore anybody who watches this to go out and Google why Bitcoin Cash is called Bcash. And Yonald Football, or however you pronounce his difficult name, wrote a fantastic essay explaining exactly what's going on there. It's a social media attack to try and confuse people about what Bitcoin Cash is.
That's right. The reason they call it Bcash is because fake news. Not because it's the shortened version of Bitcoin and then the word cash, but because of the liberal media's agenda against Bitcoin Cash. Or right-wing agenda against Bitcoin. I actually don't know which side's against them. Maybe it's just the whole thing.
They're trying to engage in that social manipulation, or it's people that have been manipulated and brainwashed by that social manipulation. And I don't think you're one of the people that's been socially brainwashed. I think you're one of the ones trying to do that brainwashing. And so I don't appreciate it. I'm not going to stand for it. Life is busy. Life is short.
Okay.
I don't need to be stand here.
I'm going to mirror rebuttal the same comment. I think that there are only three people that want to call Bitcoin Cash Bitcoin Cash. You and Jahan and your sock puppets. Okay? Because there's nobody else.
I've never hired a single sock puppet. I don't need to be insulted. But please post this so the entire world can see how incredibly rude you are to me.
The man takes it pretty seriously. As you think more about it, it does start to make some sense. These people are being persecuted because of their beliefs, because of who they are. If there was only a way to eloquently explain exactly what that would feel like.
They can call it whatever they want. It doesn't make it accurate. There's all sorts of terms that you can call racial minorities. That doesn't make it right when you do it. It doesn't mean that it's polite when you do that.
Wait. You're comparing this to a racial slur?
Interesting point there. Yeah, that actually might make you look like a jerk. But you know what else might make you look like a jerk? Trying to compare your bullshit agenda to the actual problems minorities face in our country. It actually reminds me of a famous speech.
I have a dream that one day
Bitcoin Cash
will rise up and live out the true meaning of
cryptocurrencies.
We hold these truths to be self-evident that all
Bitcoins
are created equal.
Some really moving stuff there. Roger's just come so far. I know we whizzed through a bunch of interviews that were long and there were all kinds of great debate points, but the main thing is I want to structure this argument more on what Roger has done as well as what he's willing to do to have success in this community. Roger has repeatedly shown that he's willing to mislead, misdirect, or just downright lie to people if it helps serve his agenda. He always talks about Satoshi's Bitcoin and what the original guy wanted and has created sort of a cult following based around that. Well, it's true. At some point, Satoshi has said that he eventually saw a need for larger blocks, but this is before we knew what some of the innovations would be that would help Bitcoin in the future. The problem is that Roger is a very powerful person in this world. He owns Bitcoin.com as well as many other different businesses in the Bitcoin space and has made it his personal agenda to see Bitcoin Cash successful over Bitcoin. Also, the way he furthers his agenda is by a manipulative tactic, by talking about what the founders want, what the original guy wanted. It actually in some ways kind of reminds me a little bit of some religions. There are so many things that don't make sense to me when it comes to the Bitcoin Cash community. Like, for example, their subreddit is called r/BTC. Why? BTC is Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash is BCH. In fact, this can only confuse people that are new members coming into the community. And maybe that's actually what they're trying to do. People come into the community, they see BTC, and they think it's a forum for all of the Bitcoin guys, but it's not. It's actually an altcoin community. There are a bunch of problems with Reddit when it comes to cryptocurrency. Our Bitcoin does have severe moderation and seems to downvote anything not super pro-Bitcoin, so there are some problems there. And our BTC, while allowing people to talk about Bitcoin Cash, has kind of the opposite effect where people constantly downvote anything that isn't pro-Bitcoin Cash. So both of those communities end up living in a little bit of a bubble. But just because both of these communities suffer from this, it does not make what Roger's doing okay. He constantly lies and manipulates to get his way, and I hope that my video can help shine a light on some of those issues. Thanks for joining me today, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. Got a ton more content coming up. I'll see you soon.